Hello, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Daniel, and this is the very first episode, the beginning, the creme de la potato soup of a series that I want to do on YouTube, which I will dub very uninterestingly Nonsense. Now, what this is gonna be is me talking about literally anything, train of thought. I don't have anything prepared. I just kind of think and I say my thoughts. It's very podcasty, I guess, but you're gonna see some visuals, and I don't know what those visuals are gonna be yet, so I'm gonna put relatively crappy TF2 footage there instead. Thank you to my very good friend for providing that. In any case, I guess that we should start, and I do have something to talk about. I got off a plane, not today, but 2 days ago now. And as happens with me on every other plane flight or so, I begin thinking about the existence of the universe, and I have a crisis to do with it. This time about technology, okay? Bibbidi bop. Technology is a weird thing, okay? Like, just let's go back to the planes, right? You walk out, or no, you walk into a plane. Okay, you walk out and then you walk back in. The plane is a tube, a huge tube of heavy earth that is blasted into the sky like a bird by a fast wind coming out of rotating more earth. Like think it's the basic description of it is so out of this world. Like, you don't expect to hear that and say, oh yeah, that's a transportation device is what that is. That's a horse, but dope. No, that's yikes. You like, while you're swoop-de-dooping through the air, you don't want to think about the fact that if something in this, very complicated thing goes wrong, you're gonna be back to basics, and that is a huge tube of metal falling out of the air. Right, this is why some people have fear of flights. I mean, other people can have it for different reasons, don't get me wrong, but this is one of them, I presume. But it's like this with any technology, right? You have gotten, well, not you, no, we, I'm a person, guys, and not an alien, okay? We, people, have gotten quite far down the technology tree from where we started. And this has led us to some extremely complicated understandings and mechanisms and all of these things which are so difficult to explain. Basically, it's frightening, right? Because if it takes so many hours to understand why a car moves, right, in good detail, so you could build one from scratch, which is when understanding actually comes in, you get kind of frightened, right? Because everybody that doesn't understand it, they're in trouble, right? If it breaks down. No, this is why we have professions, specific professions to understand all of this, undignified mess, which is technology. But we keep progressing technology, and it gets more difficult and more difficult to study, and you need to, know all of this stuff before you could actually get to, the centroid, the mass, which is, of course, how a basic tricycle works. Okay, you need a theory of, vectors and physics and some more physics. And I don't know, maybe your tricycle has a fourth dimension or something, because you're going to go through that part of math anyways, right? What matters here, and my point, is that it might not be good. Like how much good does it do to have such advanced technology that this is what happens, right? That nobody can understand you. And it does matter that nobody can understand you. Imagine, right, if you know something, if you're like, yes, I know exactly what this is. Imagine a leaf, right? Okay, so you have a leaf, right? Imagine you know exactly how that leaf works. You know how it blows in the wind. You can predict its every movement. You can see that it has little legs and little eyes that stare at you through the window. Yes, I'm looking at you. I'm looking out of a window now, and there's a leaf, I swear, that's looking at me maliciously. Anyways, if you know all that, but if you can't explain it to another person, if you can't make them understand that the leaves are plotting a conspiracy, then it doesn't matter. Because the necessity of communication is essential to information ever existing at all. So if you can't communicate your conspiracy to a fellow conspirator, then you've got no boobly bop. You've got no schwibble schwabble, and you have no idea of what's going on, right? But the leaves do. The leaves, they have like a root system. The leaves, I guess it's like a branch system, okay, right? The leaves, they have a branch system. They're part of one organism. And so if you ever manage to teach a leaf how to add 1 and 2, then every single other leaf would know that the answer is 3. But if you manage to teach a person how to add 1 and 2, it takes a while for that person to figure out how to explain it to another person. This is why you have specific professions again. You know, it seems the more I talk, the more I realize that professions, they've gotten much more acute over the years, you know, like an angle. We first had them branching and become wide, like thick tree trunks, you know, out of the forest of knowledge and skill and instinct come trees of this stuff. But then they branch and they branch and they branch because the knowledge increases and we need more research, more time, you know, more of these little leaves to understand everything now, and so we need more professions to help us with that. Which is why we have all of these, you know. Science alone has so much stuff. You have not just biologists, now you have marine biologists, you have non-marine biologists, you know, biologists that look like they look at one specific tree in a specific forest for the entirety of their lives and figure out that the answer to the world, life, and everything is 42 by looking at this one tree. And then you have, you know, like divers, right? And like you have, they're usually, you know, instructors, but they kind of dip in, like a diver can be a lot of things. You know, every profession has their own like instructor. Like a diver can instruct another person on how to be a diver. If you can't do that, you can't be a diver, right? Okay, and then there is, you know, like, I don't know, divers that like lead other groups of untrained divers to like safer places, right? You've got this like whole tourism thing, which is interesting in its own right. I think I'll come back to it. It seems fun to talk about. And then you have, right, divers that are photographers, right? And that's like a mixing of the two. This is where the branches have grown so wide, they've actually grown back into each other and collided, like a, you know, they kind of did the emblem, and now they're like one sort of entwined shrub, like a bush. Okay, atop of the tree we have bushes. Now, what's interesting is, imagine if every profession, if we got so wide, we hit, you know, walls, right? The walls of our greenhouse, and we went up, and the walls curved in, and eventually all of the branches meet at the eternal bush of all knowledge. Imagine if at the very top there's just the profession of human, right? We started with one seed, it was human. And we have ascended to the next level, which is the great shrub of smart monke. Okay, that's I think we should strive for. Tourism is against all of that. Okay, tourism says, well, I'm on this branch halfway across the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm a freaking, I don't know, geologist or something. Now I'm gonna travel down on the branch, down the tree trunk, through the root system to the other tree on the other side of the greenhouse. I'm gonna go visit Egypt, and I'm gonna talk to somebody, I don't know, like a physicist about the organ transplant. That's not what physicists do. I don't know. But you get what I mean, right? Tourism isn't just, visiting another culture. There's like profession tourism as well. And so it's very weird because you're not working to get a better understanding of that. No, tourism is a vacation, right? You're stopping your own branch from growing, which is something you shouldn't be doing, right? But you do it anyways because it's fun and you need a break. And to be fair, breaks are very fun and I like them as well, and I'm not against them. But you take a break and you go to some other place, or maybe you get on a Zoom call with how, last year and this year is going, and I don't know, you talk to other people and they give you like a quick tour of their branch of understanding, and you're like, ah, yes. I know that now, but you only know it. You don't understand it because if you've become a tourist for long enough to understand that branch fully, then you're not a tourist anymore because you can be that profession now, right? So tourists usually they go and they like know and they remember maybe like half of what they were told, maybe a quarter, I don't know, a sixth or something like that. And then they go back and they're like, now I know this thing, and I will keep this knowledge with me and not be able to share it with anyone because I'm stupid and dumb and I had a vacation and let me have some fun already with my vacations. Like, you're not expected, of course, to be able to say everything you know, but it's good if you are able to, because that means you're a great sort of mode of communication, right? You're a great node in the expansive web that is humanity, and if you're a good node, you're a good person, and people like you. It's the point of communication. So I'm communicating to you, right? I'm looking at a blue circle moving in and out on my inbuilt Windows voice recorder app. I don't know who I'm talking to. No, sure, I know a couple of people might listen to this, but to the wider scale of things, I have no idea who's on the other side. And at this point, there is no one. But I'm still talking because I feel like communication is very important to, being a human, not to life, not to like, I don't know, labels, which I'm not going to touch on yet, but just to this understanding. And understanding knowledge is what shapes humans, and what many people describe as one of the major things that separates us from a lot of different animals is our knowledge. And if knowledge is communication and I'm communicating to you, then hey, I hope that made both of us smarter. Maybe we just grew dumb. I think we degenerated, right? I sure have degenerated because I didn't learn anything from this. I just related, and now I feel a bit more energetic, but a bit more degenerated. I've really descended down the scale of intellect by doing this small thing. But yeah, on such a fabulous note, I think I'm gonna stop. There's quite a world out there to explore and quite a world to talk about, and I've got so much stuff to say, but I've only got a limited amount of TF2 footage, and that, as well as I know, ends about here, so I leave you off, I tip my hat, and I say goodbye. Fellow people, it has been great to talk to you, though I do not know who many of you are. Goodbye and farewell until next time.